Got a pretty nice Malibu Classic. Looks pretty slick. Yes, sir. I like that. 4 doors, all the fun. She got a 3.8 V6, and it was at Atlantic Nationals. Pretty slick. Got another one. Some of you guys might like these Genesis coupes. They're pretty slick for a new type rigging. Is that Stance East? We were there too. Look at that. Yes, sir. Gotta love the old F-150 classics. I quite like these riggings. You guys already know that. Looks to be like she's in pretty good shape too. Yes, sir. Got a convertible Mitsubishi Eclipse. You don't see these fellas too often. How about a bright yellow Cobalt supercharged SS? Might be a little dinged up. You already know we got Dad's Trans Am here. Yes, sir. You guys already seen that fella.
So how about a more laid-back video? We're in my dad's Trans Am, and we got a little bit of time to kill. We're waiting to do some things. So how about we just talk about this 1979 TA Trans Am and kind of, some things that a lot of fellas don't know about. Let's talk about the old Fire Chicken. Welcome to Ohio Stable Garage. Now, this video is going to be a lot more laid back than how you guys are usually used to it, but let's just shoot from the hip and get a conversation going. So generally, what is this car? So this car specifically is a 1979 Trans Am, 6.6 liter, that's a 403 Oldsmobile, and a 3-speed automatic. That's going to be your TH350 transmission. Then it has a Chevy 10-bolt in the back, and I did this wrong before. I read 538 gears. It's actually a 338, which makes a lot more sense when you're talking speeds and stuff like that. This car is running coil springs up front, air shocks, and leaf springs in the back. The old 1979 Trans Am is a unibody car with a front subframe, meaning basically the front subframe where your engine cradle and everything is a big steel box tube, and it bolts to the unibody back of the car. The unibody back of the car is basically the cockpit all the way back to the trunk. The whole front end can just kind of come off with 4 bolts right here, taking the transmission and everything with it. Whoop, gone. Now, was the 1979 Trans Am the first to do that? No, obviously not. Was it even the first Firebird to do that? No, absolutely not. Pretty much all the second-gen Trans Ams and Camaros, they all share virtually the exact same platform. But it was a very big stepping stone from going from complete unibody cars, like today, to basically where the front is, where your main suspension is, and all that stuff. It's a traditional frame, literally just bolted to a unibody. As for interior-wise, this Trans Am is black interior, black carpet, white top, white vinyl seats, white vinyl door cards, and a sunroof. Now, mind you, does this sunroof, is that a factory option? Not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure it's an aftermarket option because usually the sunroofs for these would be a lot bigger or just be a T-top or a hard top. I'm pretty sure this is a standard hard top with an aftermarket sunroof in it. Now, as for options for this 1979 Trans Am, you have a rear defrost. That's pretty cool, pretty awesome. And you got a radio, AM, FM, with cassette. Not to mention the Trans Am package, but that's pretty much all she's got going for her. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about some neat things that you might not know about the 1979 Trans Am. Did you know that there's 5 Firebird emblems on the interior of the Trans Am? If you're not gonna, talk about factory floor mats and stuff, but 5 Firebirds in here, let me show you. You got 1 on the wheel. You got 1 on the dash. You got 1 on the right door card. 1 on the left door card. And 1 on the top of your TH350. It's almost like they don't want you to forget that you're driving a Trans Am. And you're not driving one of them little fellers right there. Another neat thing about the steering wheel, this comes factory. This is going to be on your second-gen Camaros, your Trans Ams, and your Fire Chickens. This right here is just your standard Grant pattern on your wheel. So you can literally unbolt the stock wheel and put a standard Grant wheel right on top of it. No real need to do it at the end of the day because this is a fantastic wheel, but if you wanted to, you could. Another cool thing about the Trans Am, which is more so of its time when it was released and less so a feature, but now it's kind of cool, is check this out. Much like the old F-150s and stuff like that, government mandate didn't exactly happen yet for the windshield wipers. So this is your slider for your low and high and off. And then this is also how you get your squirter to work. You push that fella in instead of it being up on your turnstock there. Another cool thing about this, these right here are your valving. They were open blend doors up inside the kick panel right here. And that basically will suck fresh air from the outside into your cab. This Trans Am doesn't have any wing windows or anything like that, even though it's in the right time frame for it. But I can tell you this, when you're driving down the road, just having those two suckers open, this basically is like having the blower motor on steroids. It will shoot cold air right onto you. AC is not really needed for that. Another thing you could call a feature, this fella right here is how you move your mirrors up and down and how you adjust them out. That being said, these mirrors are about as big as the farmer's wraps you get from Tim Hortons nowadays. Small. They're virtually useless for backing up. I can tell you that for free, especially at night. Another neat thing about these old Trans Ams, this right here is your trunk release. You press that bad boy, opens up everything. Fun fact, I didn't even know that that part existed until about 2 weeks after driving this thing. I was always opening it up from the key at the back. Want to know how you're in 1979? Where priorities are no cup holder, and I mean, you know, not a single one in here is a cup holder. But you know what you do have? Not one ashtray. Not two ashtrays. But three ashtrays. It just shows you how much times have changed, really, at the end of the day. And now with a whole bunch of cars running fuel injection and all that stuff, you don't really see this stuff anymore, but take a look at this. This is the factory starting procedure up on your visor. This is where those pedal pumps usually come into play. But basically, it talks about how to start the engine in different scenarios, because carbureted engines are a little bit more finicky. Tells you about how to do it on a warm engine. You got to hold it down halfway and then crank. How to basically get rid of a flooded engine. These were very common on these cars, especially with the Quadrojets that used to be on them. This guy is right now a 1401 Edelbrock on it. But it tells you how to start it in all these different procedures and all these different environments. Basically, it's a good old cheat code if you never drove one of these old cars, because going from a fuel-injected car to an old carbureted car, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to run out of battery power starting to crank these fellas up. But always refer it up to your visor. A lot of old cars have a starting procedure up there that you can go by. And the old Trans Am's no different. Another neat thing is down by your e-brake. I'm pretty sure this must be the same e-brake used on a truck or another car, because normally your pull handle would be right here. It even has the hole for it. GM was very, very known for repurposing other materials from other cars. Well, after you set it, the only way to release it is actually up here. Neat, eh? All instead of a pull handle on the bottom. And you know, she's got tilt column, as you can see. Pretty darn slick. She's also got a factory clock. That's almost impossible to set. So yeah, just a laid back video, just kind of going over the old Trans Am. A little bit of common knowledge to some, but then to others, if you're not around these things, you just don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this type video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. We got a pretty big one coming up. You guys are gonna like it. I'll see you guys soon. All right, see ya.